Hey there guys, welcome to the next video here on the channel. In honor of Valentine's Day, I'm going to show you guys how to make kind of a heart-shaped hip purse, as you can see here. And what we're going to be doing is starting off with our basic steps here, making a few duct tape sheets, and then we'll start making the purse here. So let's start with our first step. So for our first step, what we're going to do is cut out several strips of tape that are 7 inches long. And I am using the color red here. The 3 traditional colors for Valentine's Day are pink, white, and red, in case you're not sure about that. So these strips are 7 inches long here, and we're actually going to be cutting out a few more than this, but I'll show you guys exactly what I'm doing here. Just going to apply these together just like this, overlapping a little bit. And we're actually going to be making a sheet of tape that is 8 inches high. So if you look at if you're using like a ruler or a cutting mat here, this is about a little less than 4 inches high. So we're actually going to be taking a bunch more of these strips and applying it so we have something that's 8 inches high here. So do that step now. So that's what it's going to look like when you have your sheet of tape here. Now hopefully you guys realized how to do that, and it was pretty simple for you, because once you get your sheet, you're actually going to take your duct tape once again. If you're using red, you're going to take some more red, and you're going to come out with an exact duplicate of that sheet. And from there, we're actually going to be using the accordion style to actually give this purse a little bit of depth. So let's work on the strips for the side and the bottom, and I'll show you how to attach those accordion style to this purse that we're making. Alright, so I've turned the bag to the side here, so this is the top up here and this is the bottom, and we're going to cut out 2 strips of tape, any color that you want, and we're going to use this as our side piece. So I decided to use white, and what we're going to do is, of course you want to measure this out so that it's the entire length of the side of the bag here, and we're simply going to stick these 2 strips of tape on top of each other. And if you want your bag to be exactly that thick on the side, you can just leave it like that, but I don't actually want the purse to be quite that thick when it's totally expanded. So what I'm going to do is trim just a little bit off here, and then make sure, if you do trim any off, you make sure it's nice and straight on there. Then what we're going to do is actually fold this in half and get a really good crease on here, because that'll help you later on when you're trying to apply it. So get a good crease, and then what we're going to do is you're going to stick the crease on the inside of the bag. So what we're going to do is pick this up here, be a little bit tricky. I'm going to pick it up, and we're simply going to attach this to this bottom part here and flip it around the back, and then we're going to put this on top here and flip and kind of attach it so that it's flipped around the front. So we're going to attach that, and I'll show you exactly how that works. So once you stick it on the top and bottom, that's exactly what it's going to look like, and you can tell that it obviously folds open like an accordion, and that will allow the bag to expand a little bit. And of course, the wider you make that, the more the bag can expand. Now what we're going to do is do the exact same thing on this side over here. We're going to leave the top open, of course, and we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. If you do this side next and then the bottom, it's going to be a little tricky for the bottom. So what I recommend is that you probably do the bottom next and then the side here, and that will allow you to to work without having both sides sealed up and then the bottom. So we're going to cut out a whole bunch of strips. In this case, it's going to be white once again, and we're just going to accordion style the side and the bottom just like we did over here. So there we have it. It's accordion styled on all sides. You can see that on all 4 sides there. I'll open it up so you guys can see how much room there is in there. If you seal it, just in with without doing the accordion style, it would be really thin. But since we do that, it allows it to pop open a little bit, and you can store a bunch more stuff in there. So now we're going to work on the flap for the top, and we're also going to work on stylizing a little bit, and of course putting the strap on, which is pretty simple. So let's start working on that. So for the flap for the lid, it's really simple. You just stick a bunch of strips together and then put one extra one with some sticky side showing. And then what we're going to do is simply just line this up and stick it right on the top here. And you can do a little trimming on the sides if it's a little too wide or something like that. Sometimes the measurements don't always work out perfectly. And if you're working with duct tape, you know that without a doubt. So we're just going to trim a little bit off the top here. And that will be the flap for the top here. And now what we're going to do is actually modify this a little bit to make it more of a heart shape, which is going to be really cool. That's what we'll do next. So for the flap for the lid, I decided to go make it a little bit snazzier and everything. And I cut out a picture of a heart here that I just found online, just a simple heart image. I'm going to trace it onto the chrome tape here, and then I'm actually going to stick it onto the lid. So once I cut this out, we'll move on to sticking it on there. This is just one of the ways that you can do it. So now I have the giant heart sticker cut out, and I actually haven't put anything on the back yet because it's actually going to work like a sticker for a little while here. So I'm actually going to stick this on just like that, try to center it as best I can right there in the middle. Stick this part onto this part up here. Try to round it out as best you can. You can always peel it up and stick it on again. And this part is actually going to be covered up with chrome tape. And the reason why I didn't do this until now is because I didn't want it to actually bleed over into the side here. So what we're going to do is just going to cover this with chrome tape. And then I'm just going to simply trim it off with the pair of scissors so that this is actually just one, double-sided flap here on the top. So that'll be my next step. So this is what it looks like after I did all my trimming, and this pink piece is pretty much still under here. That's why I used it as a sticker to stick it on, and then of course I just doubled over on the bottom here. And I cut in a little bit to make it a little more stylish, put a little piece of velcro on there on the bottom, and of course you can modify this any way you want to. You can put pockets on the inside, you can put pockets on the outside, which will look pretty cool. To make the strap, of course it's pretty simple. If you guys are accustomed to making straps, you probably already know how to do it, but you just take a whole bunch of long strips and bind them together until you have a really long strip, and then you can just attach it usually into the sides or into the actual pocket of the purse on both sides, and then you have a shoulder strap or something like that, whatever you want to use for that. So hopefully you guys liked the video on making a heart purse here, kind of like a heart hip purse. So hopefully you guys liked it, and I'll catch you next time on the channel. Happy Valentine's Day, and hopefully you liked making this cool heart-shaped creation.